Think of all the deadly traps that ancient civilizations might have protected their spoils with. You can start to get a good idea of what you're up against in Temple Tantrum. Spikes, shooty cannons, spiders, scorpions, snakes, flame traps, bottles of glue, apple trees, flatulent flowers. This is getting a bit odd. Hello and welcome then to Yesteryear's Mac Games, where today we'll be looking at an excellent adventure puzzle game by Ground Zero Software. This lot are probably best known for Bedlam 2, definitely one of the Mac's better Space Invader clones. But Temple Tantrum has a lot of character too, so let's elaborate on why. Temple Tantrum is a top-down, mouse-controlled treasure collecting game, with about 100 stock levels to scramble through, backed up by a level editor to make your own. The original version for macOS 8, 9 and 10 was later made freeware by the game's creator Jeff Hester, who also did a bit of work in recent years on an all-new iOS version. This project, however, seems to have given way to other things, as the dev blog has been silent for a couple of years. The game requires a Power Mac with 256 colours, macOS 8.1 and 12 megs of RAM. Oh, and you really do need a mouse in my opinion. Trying to control your Explorer with a trackpad just doesn't work. So the mouse moves the Explorer's hat around. Presumably the rest of the Explorer is underneath. The two buttons you need are one to fire your gun, depicted in this image as a handheld item, but which seems to be built into the centre of the hat in the game, and another to lay down an explosive. The game's levels are grouped into sections of similar themes. You get a neat little graphic that tells you that you have progressed to the next one. The second batch, for instance, takes place in the Temple Garden. The third are more maze-like and get a bit tedious. Fire-centric ones come after that, and so on. Some stages are very fiendish indeed, while others embrace a gimmick and are pretty fun as a result. You'll find yourself shooting bugs, beating back vines, collecting keys to open doors, blowing up paths to avoid collecting keys to open doors, dodging all sorts of spiky things, and dying without any warning, courtesy of random snakes that fly into the game area unannounced. The biggest gripe that I have with the game is that there are a lot of cheap deaths. It's genuinely dangerous to be up against any of the four sides of the screen on the off chance of becoming snake lunch. That said, if you're half good at the game, it will dish you out plenty more. You can find extra lives sat around in the levels, more often in the bonus ones. You'll also get awarded one every 20,000 points. Netting a decent bonus time, picking up a bunch of coins, and acquiring a multiplier is a great way to stock up on a bunch.
Not bad.
The end goal is to acquire the Phoenix Eye, a priceless gem. But there are plenty of valuable odds and sods to pilfer in the meantime. Gold, pearls, and gems galore. Each level has a bunch of gems, entombed in a rock. So in order to progress to the next stage, you will need to bash into these relatively hard, just like explorers do in real life. As these rocks bounce off other things, it will crumble and eventually break away, allowing you to swipe the shiny stone inside. Take too long in picking them up, and this chancing freeloader will take it from you. It's not gone until his hand grabs it, so be quick and you can yank it back before his very eyes. Eye, I suppose. Once you've successfully ransacked the stage, make your way through to the endgate and get to the next one. The game will on occasion require a restart if something goes somewhere that it's not supposed to, but on the whole, the game plays very smoothly. One other exception that I experienced was when I got stuck. The only thing I could do to get myself out of this was blow myself up with dynamite. The stock levels themselves are generally well done, although there are a few stinkers in there. All the walls in this one, for instance, are made up of unlockable doors. Every false move deprives you of one of your hard-earned keys. The most direct comparison for this game I can think of is probably Oxide. Both of these see you controlling a circle and bumping into things while avoiding hazards. So the game isn't especially unique, But it's well themed, has plenty to do, and most importantly, is fun to play. It has a decent soundtrack too, which is playing in the background. You can, of course, find a link to the download in the video description. So there is then every reason to check this old title out, if you have the means. I did have a look on the archived website of the game to see if anyone had shared any level packs. Unfortunately, it would seem not. A real shame, as the editor is pretty well made. I'm hoping the iOS version gets back on its feet. I'm not really one for mobile games, but it's always nice to see an old Mac game get a new lease of life. So, that's it for this edition of Yesteryear's Mac Games. Do share your thoughts in the comments or on the Twitter. And if you have an interest in other old titles for the Macintosh, do check out some of my other videos. You may find another of your forgotten favourites among them. So, thanks ever so much for watching, and see you next time.